Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be covering Pixar's Elemental, released in 2023. Elemental is known as simply another lame contribution to Pixar's downfall, as the company's reputation has been on a steady decline, with many noticing the lack of its original spark. While I do agree that this film is far more simple than other entries in the Pixar collection, the film has a lot to admire when it comes to its character work. Whether they explore the differences the elements have both racially and romantically, how they are tied into their familial expectations and backgrounds, and most importantly, the character animation. In this video, I'm going to cover the argument scene between Wade and Ember right after they first touched. The scene begins with Wade and Ember embracing each other and slowly dancing. In a really close and intimate shot, Wade says,
I'm so lucky.
which we can see gives Ember a sort of comfort as it pans down to her. But this is quickly followed by a sense of guilty realization to a moment earlier in the film where her father says the same thing, that he's lucky to have her. This sparks a mini montage where we see Ember and Booney standing close to their eternal blue flame, which reminds us of the family's long-lasting history. The next shot is of Ember presumably setting up for the red dot sale that occurred earlier in the film. Next to her is Booney in a very tired state, reminding us of Booney's declining health. The next shot is a sweet shot of Ember and Booney hugging each other, reminding us of their love for each other through all they've been through. The final shot of this montage is the sign that would be put into place when Ember takes over the shop in just one day, after her father retires. This image in Ember's mind sparks a combination of guilt and confusion, knowing that she's cared so much for her family and upholding their legacy, but she also wants to go down a different route in her career path. It's important to note the sound design in the scene, as each shot change is met with a spark from the fireplace sign, all building up to that final shot.
I'm so lucky I have you.
I also really love the non-diegetic sound work, the way that the sound design implies the sign breaking, which immediately cuts off the heartfelt score that was playing over this sweet moment. Ember lunges off of Wade, saying that she has to leave and runs off with no explanation, leaving Wade confused and follows her for answers. I really love the way that Ember lights up the scene as she walks up the stairs. The direction they took in this film to utilize the visuals of each element to benefit the look of the scene is pretty spectacular. Ember explains that she needs to go back to her father's shop where her life is, because she takes over tomorrow. The music turns somber as Wade tries to explain to Ember that she needs to reveal her true feelings to her father before it's too late. The placing of the characters is very important in this scene, as the only time Wade is in front of Ember is to stop her from moving forward, with most of the scene having Wade following Ember, showing Ember's need to rush out of the situation. Wade tells Ember that she needs to do what she wants in her life, angering Ember, who explains that in her situation she can't simply follow her heart. Her appearance turns subtly purple, which is a common trait we see in her throughout the film as she deals with her temper, which is another example of great vibrant character animation. Wade gets really assertive in the situation, knowing what's right for her. He steps up, telling her that maybe her father would understand. After she laughs, Wade tells Ember that he thought she was strong, but she's actually just afraid. This sets off Ember, turning her appearance into a deep purple, enhancing her glow and her intensity. The way that Wade covers his face and steps back, matched with the enhanced glow reflecting off of him, shows us not just the anger that Ember feels, but the intensity of the argument, as if this conversation is what the film had been building up to the entire time. Wade stands there looking disappointed as Ember explains that Wade has no idea what it's like to have parents that have sacrificed everything for their family. This mise-en-scène is very effective, as it's just moments after their close embrace, but now the shot is wide enough to show an incredible distance between them, with Ember's glow lighting up the scene and representing the intensity of the moment. Just as Ember is caught up in a barrage of confusion, Wade is also confused at the situation and what Ember is deciding to do, saying that he doesn't understand. Ember tells him that's the reason why they would never work together, before announcing that they are over and entering the subway, which eliminates the glow from the scene, marking the end of the intensity and the immense glow they had building in their relationship. Now I wanted to dive into some ethical uses of AI that contributed to the preparation of this video. Anybody could summarize, meaning ChatGPT isn't feeding you extraneous information with a summarization, but rather opening up a clearer explanation. I asked it to identify how scene analysis differs from animation to live action in Buchan's animation and theory. It explained that while live action elements are captured from reality as best as they can, animation is constructed, meaning every single detail is meticulously crafted into what you see on the screen. It says representation is fabricated rather than captured. This is absolutely true. I mean, looking back at, for example, the moments when Ember makes quick movements while arguing with Wade, every quick moment, if you can notice it, is matched with an intensity in her flame, which is very intentional by the animators. Even the glow itself lighting up the scene was a meticulous choice behind the scenes. I read a review of Elemental from RogerEbert.com, where they shared their mostly negative view on the film, but one particular paragraph highlights the film's quality voice acting and character animation, which I too believe are the film's strong suits. Lewis voices Ember with a playful warmth that nicely complements the bubbling affability that Athy brings to Wade. While the animation of both their bodies, hers flickering that suddenly ablaze with emotion, heat wafting upward, his fluid and transparent, prone to collapsing into a puddle on the ground, is always exciting to look at. These words are almost exactly how I describe how it felt to watch these two characters interact in the argument scene, making the most of their character animation while cementing a truly heartbreaking moment. I also read a review from BostonHassle.com, where Kyle Amato states that the metaphors don't work. Fire is dangerous, so you can understand why the Earth people might not want them in their buildings. While I can somewhat relate to this claim, I think it's important to look at Ember and Wade's relationship and how they literally change their chemistry. It's not about them being too different to touch, it's about how their connection and their love allow them to put aside their differences. I think there's some in Elemental, but I always find myself drawn to some of the ideas they have to explore in the film, and the scene I covered is no exception. Thank you for watching, guys.